Hello, good evening. This is Brother Benson Media, and today is on Monday. We are blessed to have this opportunity to just, have a conversation. Of course, a conversation which is geared towards the betterment of our country. I want to take this opportunity to invite all our viewers and all of all of you, everyone will be watching now or later. Feel welcomed. This is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you are watching for the first time, we beseech you to kindly like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. Before I get into the topic of today, allow me to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Miguda to say hi to our viewers before we proceed. Miguda.
Hello to our viewers. We welcome to our daily show here at Brother Benson Media. We say your opinion counts, and we appeal to the viewers currently and future viewers to support the channel by subscription and also liking the video, share. That's how you can support the above channel. Welcome you for our discussion, everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Megoda. And just as the topic goes, ODM bows to Ruto. What's really going on? That is part of what we want to discuss tonight. And I want to start right away with the topic. And of course, the first part that I want us to tackle is ODM joining or committing to continue being in broad-based. Remember, this is a statement that was coming after the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, and not forgetting this was the first time the ODM, as a party, were meeting. This is the first time they were meeting to, to come up with strategies and also to clarify their stand as a political party on, what they are planning to do in the near future. And of course, for the first time, you saw Edwin Sifuna, the new party leader, that is Dr. Buru Oginga, among others, were present in that particular meeting. And, after the meeting, it's Sifuna read their resolution. And of course, he did commit that as a party, they are going to continue being in broad-based. And, Edwin Sifuna confirmed that ODM will serve in Ruto's broad-based government until 2027. And he was very specific. Remember, he has always had a stand that they cannot talk beyond 2027. And in his statement, he was specific until 2027. So, Miguda, I'll just want to hear your take on that particular statement of Edwin Sifuna confirming that ODM will serve Ruto's broad-based government till 2027. This is a statement that is coming after the hard stance that he had together with his allies. And again, the party also stated reasons. They talked more of peace, the stability, and of course, they did commit that they'll be honoring Raila Odinga's legacy. And of course, they dwelt on the 10 agenda guiding ODM participation in the government. And Mikuda, I'll want you to give your take on that first. Please give us your comment on Edwin Sifuna's confirmation that ODM will be serving in this particular government. And as a party, ODM standing with peace, stability, and of course honoring the legacy of Raila Amolo Odinga. What did they mean with that particular statement, and how are they going to ensure that there is peace, stability, and of course they also honor the legacy of Raila Amolo Odinga? and their comments on the 10 agenda guiding them in participation in the government. Mr. Migude, what is your take?
The SG for ODM and Sifuna has just read the party position after the NEC has resolved to support President William Ruto until 27. It's not news because that's what was there even before Baba died. He read the same things. And they resolved that they're only supporting Ruto under 10-point agenda, which they agreed earlier in a structured memorandum of understanding at KICC. They continue working hand in hand until 27, because that's what the statement read. They were supposed to work until 27. Then from there, they will sit down and decide whether to work with President Ruto or not. But that one is very much in order, because there were some people who were telling us that, not some people actually, Opio and I was telling us that we are going to work beyond 2027. That is not there. They were supposed to work until 2027. And that's what's happening. And he has just confirmed what Baba said. Baba said that, who told that ODM will not feel a candidate 27? Baba said that we are in broad-based government. Baba said we should live between now and 2027. Then we'll know later whether we are going to get into arrangement with the Ruto or not. I think now things are very clear, because if the NEC could have resolved not to work with President Ruto, it could be contrary to what Baba left, because Baba left when the 10-point agenda was being driven. They were supposed to work until 27. That's how they were supposed to work as a party. And if they decided to do so, I don't see any difficulties, because that's how it could be, even if Baba could be alive. Right, but what we can discuss is that right now, Baba is gone. Baba is no more. Baba is late. He is late in life. We refer to him as the late, because he can't cope up with the life. The people who are left behind have a duty to ensure that they leave the legacy, and also they cope up with the dynamic nature of the politics. Talking about 2027 future, Baba is now absent, is no more in the future. So we cannot rely on what he could have said or what Baba said. It is us who are in the future to decide what we are going to do, depending on that dynamic nature of that particular time, who you work with or not. That one now, we will be at liberty, or the people who believe in the broad-based government will be at liberty. Right now, it's up to them to live to the quest that Baba had in mind. But remember, now, after we are done with the 27, it's up to now individuals to decide. That is now. And right now, there is no one. If you try to walk out of the LDM party, you will be named to be a rebel, that you just want Baba to die, but you wanted to live. Because what the Central Committee has discussed today is not in contrary to what has been there even when Baba was alive. They have just aligned, and there is no need for you to walk out right now. But they have given that window for people to have new signings towards the 27 elections. So you understand, they have made a party leader, they have made a decision of the party, If you are not in conformity with the party leader or the vision of the party, you are at liberty to defect, and that is your democratic right. To me, what ODM has done is just to reiterate that we are where Baba left us. Until that time, we will decide ourselves, the party, what to do next. The decision that is going to be taken in 2027 going forward now will be out of context of what Baba said. It will be us, the people who are left behind, and the party leader, other people. And that's why I'm saying I'm not seeing Baba in future. Baba is now late in politics. Baba is late in 27 politics, he's late in 2030 politics. So when he's late, the people who are there are the people who should actually realize that whenever they are making a decision, whenever there's a decision being made somewhere by representations of the people, our representatives, the ones who are going to be in boardrooms, try to have a structured conversation, dialogue. Do not just dialogue or collab or make a decision with the opponent without referring to the people. Go back and hear what the people are saying. Are the people contented with the government? Are the people contented with their primaries? If you have done fair primaries and you have delivered service to the people, and you have promised and you are promising, the people will actually reward you. But don't go to negotiate without talking to the people, because you can go to the table to negotiate for your own benefit, for your own self. But the rubber will meet the road, and the people will not re-elect you, and the people will also punish you by not electing the person you're supporting. If you support unpopular candidates, will punish you. My appeal to the leaders who will be having that time to discuss matters of merging, matters of the future. Because right now, Baba is normal, and we cannot put him. The people out there will have to participate and represent people effectively. If you are representing people effectively, and also if you are part of the team that's going to negotiate on behalf of other people, try to consult and do your due diligence and get clear, explicit, real intel from the ground, where the heart, where the soul, where the mind, where the strength of the people lies. If the people are not contented with the current regime of the president, if the people are not contented with the current governors or MPs, do not subject people into dictatorial status whereby you must compare the people by giving people's direct certificates or doing unfair primaries and subjecting people to join the bandwagon. That one is going not to act effectively. People have already made their mind. They have said there's a wave of change hovering across the stronghold of ODM. And anybody, and this one I want to say without any fear of contradiction, that anybody who has not worked for the people, anybody who has not delivered services, you are going to be not to be re-elected. You are going home, whether you have that ticket or not, because the only person who could make you to be elected without doing anything was only the late Raila Odinga. Nobody. All foot soldiers were taking instructions directly from the Raila Odinga. These foot soldiers are not going to take instruction from party chairperson. They are neither going to take instruction from the SG nor any other party organ in that leadership. They could only take instruction from one center of command, and that center of command has been destabilized. It is now the turn of the structure of leadership, or the people who are at the apex of leadership, to take instruction from the people, and if it's possible, they should even cut out their real, authentic opinion polls, do their own surveys to understand the pulse of the nation, to feel where the nation is. But if you do your own blah 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 blah, that is now up to you, because we have won new people. The people are still mourning. The people have not healed. And for you to ensure that the people heal very swiftly and the people mourn without any interference, you must go and refer to the people. So that's my appeal tonight, that reference must be made from the people. Instruction must be taken from the people, not individual.
Thank you so much, Mr. Migud. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of our good friend Goodyear in the comment section, and Goodyear is saying hi, and we're also saying hi to Goodyear. We hope you're doing good. Tumai kwamba uko mzima. Goodyear, asante sana kwa kupata nafasi kujiunga nasi jioni hii ya leo, tukizungumza yale mambo ambayo yanatuhusu sana sana in the field of politics. And of course, today we saw what happened, where the ODM party for the first time had a meeting, and out of that meeting they came up with quite a number of resolutions. Part of it is a confirmation that they will be working with the government in the broad-based form until 2027. They did not focus on what will happen afterwards. Mr. Miguda, the political realignment after Raila's death, and how what is your take on how Raila's passing accelerated ODM's decision to align with Ruto? And of course, Oburu Odinga's role as acting party leader and his influence on the transition. What is your take on his influence and his capabilities? What is your take on what he brings forth on the table? What does he represent? And of course, with the growing high tension within ODM, where young leaders, the likes of Babu Owino, the likes of the member of parliament from, I'm forgetting his name, from Trans Nzoia County, I'm forgetting his name, them coming out to, to show their interest in the high political, in leading the party, and they're not currently being given the position. How is Oburu going to manipulate and, to influence the running of ODM with these consistent, different views within the party? And again, you can also give us your take on the emotional and, of course, the symbolic weight of ODM's shift in the wake of national mourning. Not forgetting, maybe you can also partly touch about the internal tensions and the public reaction, part of what I've just talked about. What is, I'm seeing what we call Sifuna's political dilemma. Remember, he's one who has been a vocal critic of the president, and now he's showing or behaving like he's defending the alliance. And of course, speculation about division within ODM and possible defection to the united opposition, where we've seen quite a number of leaders who are also within ODM still having a different stand. And there is a speculation about the division within ODM. One, of course, that we are seeing a different version Today, you see a political leader coming out to give his version. Tomorrow, you see him on a different platform saying how they are not going to work with with the government and that they are in opposition. And what is your take? How is the ODM supporters, especially in Luo Nyanza and in coastal region, in western region, reacting to this move, Mr. Miguda?
First, let me begin by saying the reason why the ODM has okay. Also, let me welcome our good friend Goodyear to the show, and also I think I will talk about what he has just type by the time of finishing. So just let it on the screen. The reason why ODM has reiterated that they are supporting broad-based government within their central committee. Remember when Baba was alive, he said, "We are living between today and 2027. If they could have today read from the report that they are bolt out of broad-based government, to me, that's not how politics work. It could be wrong because they could be blackmailed that they were only loyal to Baba when he was alive, but now he's gone. They are making decision within a twinkle of an eye. Basically, there's no need to bolt out right now. Basically, because ODM were in agreement with the UDA. They're in a working arrangement. And when Baba died, under President William Ruto, you saw the way the president was with their party leader, whatever he did to the party leader, offering. We let us not speculate many things, but because Riley is dead, he can't come back. But what was done at his burial, the support which was given by the state, to that extent, it is only abnormal for the party to bolt immediately after all those offers or services. That is to me. So there is no need for them to bolt right now. Even if they must bolt, they should not bolt because it's like the president has done this to you. He has been there. Your party leader was very unequivocal that from now until 7, that's why Sifuna had to not that bow down. Sifuna has to toe the line depending on the current political dynamics. You must read the mood on the ground. Patience is now required patience for them to deal with the current situation. We just buried Baba the other week. Then you come, you want to bolt out, and the head of state has assisted you to give your party leader a great send-off. The party has a duty to ensure that they stick that person for this period. We are still mourning. You can't just bolt out at morning. So I think it's very much in order for the ODM to do whatever they have done today. That one I want to compliment. That's the right thing to do. That right thing should be done in terms of the current political situation. There's no urgency to get out of UD right now. Let them stick there for now. Because if it is one term, it will be one term even if ODM supports them. If it is second term, it will be second term even if ODM doesn't support them. I don't see any hurry for them to get out right now because we are just from Bondo. Why do you want to get out and what has happened? Anyway, the issue of Oburu Odinga being the party leader and wrangles from the young people. Oburu Odinga is a placeholder, and Oburu Odinga was acting interim. He has not been confirmed. I think they are going to confirm. But there's no problem. Raila was an elder. He was the party leader. Oburu Odinga is also the brother. So the same thing. They haven't gone to election. If they could have gone to election, there could be a new party leader, I think maybe or not. But I don't see anything wrong, because like the structure, if the structure decided to offer brooding a party leader, the people ought to have spoke, but the people are not given that time to speak. Now the people were abandoned by the leadership structure, but we can hear what the people are saying. What I can just report to you is that people are saying Oburu Odinga is too old and he has got no future for the younger people. And even if you ask, who was the youngest person who could have succeeded Raila by right now, I think Oburu Odinga is a placeholder. People are saying, oh, they could even win Odinga. But politics does not work out that way. Politics, there's a lot of things that are happening. There are a lot of interest. And just to conclude before answering your third question, that Edwin Sifuna is a politician. Edwin Sifuna is not a saint. Edwin Sifuna is just like all these other politicians. Edwin Sifuna can change his mind. Let me inform you. People view Sifuna as someone who cannot change his mind. This is politics. It's all about interest. There's no rigidity in politics. It's about flexibility. So don't trust Sifuna too much that because he said he cannot support President William Ruto, now he will end up not supporting Ruto. No, that way you are not going to get it right. At any moment in life, Sifuna can work with Ruto. The same way I was telling you people, after handshake, don't be surprised when Gachagua and Ruto will shake hands. It's politics. Don't put it too much into your heart that Sifuna cannot change his mind. It is very much possible for Sifuna to work with President Ruto. Very much possible. And you will have something to say. You will say, for the sake of Baba, because I love Baba too much, I have to draw the line. Many things, they can't lack something. You know, someone like Sifuna, in his capacity, he cannot lack something to say. He cannot lack something to convince the public. He knows what to say at what time. So that don't worry. So that must happen. Another thing I want to say is that there's a problem in ODM. There's a big problem. It's a big problem. And today, they are trying to resolve it. But going forward, we are going to have a big problem, because there are people who said that we are working with the Ruto beyond 2027. There are people who are saying that we don't have a candidate and Baba did not prepare anybody to take over. Therefore, Ruto is our candidate. There are people who are popular and they are pro-people. With them, they have no problem. They can be re-elected anytime. And there's a group, there's a culprit here. The sycophants and the rally, those people who Baba used to carry their hands, they are now sticking to Ruto, that they think that a foreigner will go and carry their hands. No, it's not going to work that way. The people have made a decision that if there is no Baba, we were only loyal to Baba. We were paying our allegiance to Baba. We were paying our allegiance to Baba, but now Baba is gone. We don't pay our allegiance to these leaders. If you don't work for the people, if you are not in good rapport with the people, there's no good relation between a leader and a servant. People are not going to re-elect you because you are in government. People are not going to re-elect you because you are supporting President William Ruto. People are going to elect you if you are going to work for them, if you have worked for them, and if you are relating so well with the subjects. That's how it's going to happen. That's why some people are saying we are in more of a political independence for the first time, that we are going to elect leaders, not based on someone as appointed for us leaders. Now it's more of a liberal exercise whereby I vote out of my conscience. My voting is not being influenced by a leader. I vote on my own conscience. I think that's how it's going to work. But I can promise you, there are people who are not going to go back to parliament because they are lying to people like Oburu, and they are lying to people like that let us just stick and do our usual unfair nominations or direct tickets. Once we are in ODM, just the people just elect us. That one was only guaranteed when Raila was on the ballot, or when Raila could go and campaign for them. There's no much time for Raila. There's no more Raila to campaign for people. So it's up to you. If you know you're not a leader, go and do other things. But if you're a leader, present yourself for the electorate to elect you.
Okay, thank you so much, Miguda, for finding time to join us this evening. And there are some comments here that I would want you to just give your take on, Miguda, where Gypsy Corn, Good here is saying that, where is that? There's this comment here from Joyce. Joyce here is saying that ODM is dead. Sahi watu wa ODM na manazi hakuna tofauti. Hawa ni sociopaths. Sawa tu na manazi. Okay. There's also this comment from Good here saying, when I said last year that Ruto will be running on an ODM ticket, I was called something else. Kenyans' politics is full of drama and never dull. The late Raila was a peacemaker. He protected ODM. Okay. Thank you so much. And there's this comment from Frederick Owiti saying, whom do you bow for? When will media be completely gagged? Okay. There's also Joyce Wanaina saying watu wa Black Power, ODM ni manazi, ameni mapema, either UDA ama Wiper, hakuna ODM. Okay. And Calvin's Kireta here is saying that the way you define politics is like it's something that has no stand and direction. That's only in Kenya, where politicians and their mode of politics have no direction. Okay, thank you so much, Calvin's. There's also a comment from Goodyear saying the ODM politicians were not genuine. They were using late Honorable Raila to line themselves for politics. The colors and characters are coming out, so Ruto is their CEO. Okay, thank you so much. Migura, what is your take on these comments before we get to the next topic?
I just want to state that in the context of Kenyan politics, we look from the history, and the history is very clear. So we can't lie to ourselves. In Kenyan politics, these people, if their interests converge, they work together. If their interests diverge, they part ways. It's about converging and diverging. So you find out that we can't rule out what's happening in our country, and we bring in a foreign experience, which in the real sense is not applicable. So we just work with what is applicable in the country. And that's the real thing, that in the Kenyan context, these people, provided their interests can converge, they will always work together. And if there's any divergent, they will always part ways. So that's how the historical perspective of politics has been built and is being developed for over time. And we can't anticipate anything foreign in 2027. And that's why you saw people like Sifuna today are sticking there to the progress government, because that's now the way the culture of politics of this country is. I think that's what I wanted to explain, Makobuda.
Miguda, are you there?
I'm here, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe the last thing that I'd want you to give your take on is these consistent differences in ODM. What does it mean, or what it mean for 2027? What is your take? Will ODM field its own candidate or back the president, William Samoei Ruto? And what's your take again on ODM? Does it risk losing its identity as Kenya's opposition anchor? What is your take, Migod? And something else that I would also want you to give your take on is, could this be the end of multi-party vibrancy, or the start of a new political era, Mr. Miguda? And again, not forgetting, compare the alignment, and of course, remember the past coalitions, NAC, Jubilee, after their top leader left or somehow retired. We've never seen them, their vibrance. Could this be where ODM is headed? And I'd also want you to give your take on what is happening in Tanzania. Tanzania is expecting, they're soon going for the election. Is it? I think it's next month, if I'm not wrong. I'm not so. I think it's next month. I'm forgetting the date. I'll check on that in a few. This much of, political. I don't even know how to put it. Most of the opposition or people who are coming out to, to show interest in the political, and specifically for those who have interest in presidency, they're finding it tough. Remember, the likes of Lisu are still battling court. Quite a lot. And not just that, all those people are coming out to show interest in the political limelight. They're not finding it easy. Tanzania has, for the longest time, enjoyed peace, and we've never seen something or people coming out to criticize a ruling government. But for the first time, we're even seeing, citizens coming out, some of them coming out to speak their mind. We are seeing quite a number of opposition coming out, and they're saying this is not right. What is your take in what is happening in Tanzania? And do you think this election that they are going to have is partly going to solve or to bring peace? in that country, Miguda, and then you can give us your last remarks as well.
The issue of ODM. ODM, you talk about the issue of multi-party democracy. Kenya became a multi-party democracy before ODM. ODM came 20 years ago, the other day, in 2005. There were parties in this country, so there was multi-party. So multi-party did not begins with ODM, and multi-party is not going to end with ODM. ODM is just like any other political party which has been there in the existence. The only difference is that ODM has never captured power, and ODM in the fact that they have never captured power, and they have been producing a presidential candidate from 2007, 13, 17, 2024 consecutive. The fact that they have produced a presidential candidate in all the 4 elections, it makes it stronger and attractive because the intent has always been to capture power. But they haven't captured power. That's why it has been strong. But remember, multi-party came before ODM. And we had many party, even in the 202 election, 97 elections. We got so many political parties. There were several political parties in 97. I don't think that multi-party democracy is going to end because of ODM dying. And Kenya is a multi-party democracy enshrined in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. So Constitution of Kenya 2010 is not going to end with ODM. ODM is a political party. We have new political parties. You saw DCP. There's DCP, there's that one for Karuba, that one for Morara, and many other more political parties. The UGM for David Maraga, the MDG. We are still a multi-party democracy. ODM can just disappear, but it will not end our multi-party democracy. There are people will have many political parties. Even tomorrow, you can register your political party. It will not bring. The only thing it's gonna bring is that it's going to disappear. Just like Kanu disappeared, TN disappeared, Ford Kenya is now going down. So and there's no permanent thing in this world. Even political parties at times can come when things must just happen the way they're supposed to happen. And when Raila died, the party leader, he might as well go with ODM because he was the party leader. He was a voice to reckon. He was a strong man. And he was having a massive followers. Unlike the sycophants, you understand that most of the people who were around him were not loyal to him. They were just there for their own interest. Who will follow those people? Who will ensure that ODM stays, if not Raila? And people are just going to ODM because they knew very well that in ODM, once you are loyal to Papa and they can carry your hands, you don't need to campaign. ODM is not going to, is not, the end of ODM is not the end of multi-party democracy. And ODM does not exist in Kenya alone. There are several parties that I've told you. Very many parties in the country. People will look for those parties and they will use them as a vehicle to go to government. The issue of Tanzania, we understand there's election going on there, but I can just say that they are still in the process of developing in terms of democracy. They are trying to develop their democracy, their structure of governance, their laws. So in that stage of trial and error, things like what we are witnessing are necessary. Even as we came from somewhere, we were never perfect. Remember, in this country, we had a single party state. There was only KANU, and everybody belongs to KANU. Until that time, people fought for multi-party democracy, and there was no more single party in this country. Those were trenches. And we just promulgated our constitution the other day, 2010. And all along from 1963, we have been the trenches. So Tanzania, they are still where we were some years back in terms of democracy, in terms of governance. They are striving to get somewhere. and we hope that one day they will get somewhere. And they cannot get there with the kind of peace they are enjoying. Some of these freedoms, some of these fundamental rights, some of these things we are enjoying currently, they came as a result of blood. Some people have to shed blood. Some people have to be detained. Some people had to be exiled. Some people had to be deported. Some people also had to be maimed by the authorities. To that extent, we are where we are today. We never achieved our constitution peaceably sitting down or relaxing somewhere. People had to shed blood. That constitution was wrought on people's blood. We never achieved our multi-party democracy just peaceably sitting down. People had to shed their blood, and people fought to ensure that we are where we are today. And that's why we are saying the struggle continues. The Swahili famous Bad Mapambano. We are not going to stop because Papa died. The people who are there will fight. The next generation will the fight. People will still continue to fight until we get it right. But Tanzania case, I can just say, to me, they are still like a baby who is growing. There's a stages. One day they will be where people expect them to be. But for now, I think even us we are there sometimes in life. So I think we should not give them pressure. One day, if they realize that they want to get their freedom, they can't get their freedom in house or sitting under the shade. They can only get their freedom going to the street to protest. Remember, even in this country, the time Raila were being detained, it was very bad times whereby you could not even talk the way we are speaking today about the issue of government. And Baba say used to say, okay, piga ngwe done. And they used to piga ngwe until we achieved our multi-party. They used to piga ngwe until we have a constitution. The people of Tanzania, no one will come to fight for you. If you can't fight for your country, you will be slaves forever. So let them ensure that. I don't want to delve much into them because I'm not there. But what I know, freedom has a price.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Miguda. Allow me to also welcome our good friend, Mr. Barak. Thank you so much, Mr. Barak, for finding time to join us this evening. And as you'll be coming, you'll say hi to our viewers. I want to just bring forth the discussion of what we've been discussing as the topic goes. ODM bows to Ruto. And the questions, of course, that we've partly given our views on is ODM joins, the view of ODM party towards the broad-based, where Edwin Sifuna confirmed that ODM will serve in Ruto's broad-based government until 2027. Remember, this is a statement that is coming amidst different, views. And of course, they said that the party stated the reasons of issues of matters of peace, stability, and of course, honoring Raila's legacy. They also say that they are working with broad-based based on the 10-point agenda. And I would want you to give your take on that, and specifically the comment or the reading that were made by Edwin Sifuna. And if you can also give us your take on the political realignment after Raila's death, where, how Raila's passing accelerated ODM's decision to align with Ruto. You can also give us Oburu Oginga's role as an acting party leader and his influence on the transition, of course, amidst different views, especially coming from the younger legislatures, the likes of Caleb Amisi, Babu Wino, and others. And of course, you can as well give us your take on Sifuna's political dilemma, where once a vocal critic of Ruto, now defending the alliance, tomorrow giving a different version. You can give us your take on that, and also not forgetting speculations about divisions within ODM and possible defections to the united opposition, where the likes of Caleb are still having a different view on why the ODM would want or is planning to continue working with the president. Yeah, and you can also give us your take. Will ODM field its own candidate or back the president in 2027? Your take as well would appreciate. And something else is ODM at a risk of losing its identity as Kenya's opposition anchor? Could this be the end of multi-party vibrancy or the start of a new political era? Having in mind, remember the past coalitions, the likes of NAC, the likes of Jubilee, when they left government or they went out of government, what then befell them? Siku hizi tunaona ni kama zimeisha, ni kama ziko. You can give us your take, Mr. Barak, and you can also say hi to our viewers.
Hi, Mark and Meguda. Good evening, and good evening to all our viewers. Hi, Gypsy Kona, kilio chako kimefika, kwa hivyo I will not mention whatever you are saying. Let me focus on the subject matter of today. And umeuliza maswali mengi. ODM and Sifuna, we need to differentiate Sifunas as the SG and the Sifuna as an individual. Because when Sifuna was reading that statement today, was reading as the Secretary General of the party, it is only that he's finding himself in a very between the rock and the hard place, because he is the Secretary General of a party that is in alliance with the regime that is feel that is not doing the right thing. And because in Kenya it is rare for politicians to resign from positions, that's why he's still holding on to that position instead of resigning as a matter of principle. Because if we were living in a civilized society, I think he could have resigned with the mere fact that he's not in agreement with what his party stands for. And him being holding a very important position of the Secretary General, meaning that he will be the one reading every resolution after every meeting, and he is not willing to continue associating himself with the broad-based government. He could have stepped aside and allowed someone who believes in the ideologies of the broad-based government to continue, maybe to take up that position. But he has decided to continue holding that position and reading resolution from his party. And when he goes back to his friends or his allies, they will also be plotting against the broad-based government. So those are challenges of our society, where we don't have really leaders who can resign as a matter of principle. And it's not just Sifuna alone. There are many, and that's why I'm usually very reluctant to celebrate these leaders. The so-called young leaders, I don't know, United Opposition, I don't know, because they're just birds of the same feathers. It's only that they are advancing their interest from the other side, and now they're confusing the masses that now they are standing with the masses. When in real sense, they're just standing where their interest can be served best. So that is why I don't blame Sifuna. I don't, because I know the nature of our politics and the nature of our politicians. And and ODM was expected to do what they did today. I don't know why people are surprised, because they don't have any other option apart from what they did today. And you realize that even the statement saying that until 2027 they will write another statement, and Edwin Sifuna will stand there and read it again. And if he's not, if he will not have resigned by then, because he will be the one reading this resolution. So let us not be surprised, because this is what they were expected to do. So I don't think there is anything that has surprised me as an individual today, because they're just politicians who always run for to secure their interest when the rubber meets the road. No, the wananchi, you know, if you are a voter and you vote for a wrong leader, and this wrong leader start going rogue, you know, you're just accomplished of, because you facilitated these wrong leaders to getting into power. And for example, if you want to know that we are as citizens, we are just on our own. Just look at the controversial bill that Ruto signed on 15th of October, the cyber security laws. And right now, everybody is blaming Ruto for signing that bill, not remembering that this bill was debated in parliament by our parliamentarians, and they passed these laws without raising any objection to these laws. And in that parliament, all these parliamentarians sit in that parliament, including the United Opposition, the I don't know, the one hii ingine ilonga aje ya kina Kalonzo na nani. Kuna One Kenya, I don't know, kuna One Kenya Alliance, kuna United Opposition. So you find that all these politicians, they were in parliament, all these elected members of parliament, where these laws were passed, and they never raised any objection. Yeah. And now when the law is now on the other side, they start now poking holes, saying, oh, this one is not right. Where were you when these laws were being passed? So we should not be taken for a ride by these politicians. All these politicians, we need to go back to the drawing board and start assessing each and every one of them. Who is a man of integrity? Because what is lacking in this country is leaders of integrity. Yeah. I would want to see one member of parliament saying that I opposed, but because I was the minority, it passed. Yeah. Because the the parliament voting is always by the majority. But at least your voice, the voice of minority, must be heard, even if the voices of the majority will have their way. But if your voice was not heard among the minority, how comes you are now talking when the bill is now outside your jurisdiction? Yeah. So we must ensure that we get leaders of integrity, because that is what is lacking. Yeah, in parliament, in the executive, and sometimes even in the judiciary, we lack leaders of integrity. And that's why as a nation, we will continue being taken round in circles, because even the leaders know that the masses do not ask themselves difficult questions. If member of parliament comes to you today, can you ask them these difficult questions, so that they will know that the wananchi are now awake, they are no longer asleep. Yeah, they are no longer asleep. They understand the roles of legislature. They understand the role of the executive. They understand, yeah, the responsibilities of members of parliament. You don't just cheer them for the sake of it. Yeah. So I don't think that I was surprised. Now, another thing was mentioned that ODM, will this mark the end of multi-party? I think there must be, the end of an era normally leads to the emergence of another era. So because the late Raila Odinga was seen as the figure of the opposition, opposition of Kenyan politics, and now he is no more. And you know, wahenga walisema mti mkubwa ukianguka unaanguka na zingine ndogo ndogo mingi tu. So when Raila was a huge tree, and he fell, and because of that fall, he has fallen with so many small trees. And those small trees are the one that you are seeing here, yapping here today. Tomorrow they are saying the other thing. Others are threatening others not to visit some certain parts of the country. Others are saying other things. So these are small trees that are falling with Raila Odinga. And it's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before these things now start becoming clear. Because by 2027, you will be seeing clearly who are going home completely and who will be re-elected, and whether and other leaders who will emerge. It's still early now to speculate, but I can tell you, these small trees you are seeing making noise here and there, and like they are confused, there's not a clear direction. It is as a result of a huge tree falling. And normally, Raila Odinga's death will destroy so many political careers because we have careers that were made out of playing Raila's FICO funds or either you playing Raila mania or Raila phobia. So these two groups are going to be victims or casualties of Raila's death. So it's just a matter of time. Those who will survive in 2027 will not survive in 2032. I can assure you. They can only survive one election. That will be the end. Because there is nothing that will sustain them. The Raila mania and Raila phobia is no longer sustainable because Raila himself is no longer there. So itaangusha wengi. And what I know is that another party will emerge that will be strong within the opposition's jurisdiction, and they will keep the government to check. But let us not fall into uh, the trap of comparison, comparing whoever will emerge with the late Raila. Every individual is gifted differently, and nobody can replace the other because everybody is uniquely gifted differently. So let us not fall into that trap of comparing, but whoever will emerge and they will try to keep the government of the day on toes. And I am sure that person right now, nobody knows him, but he will emerge. He's just among the Kenyans. Maybe he's among the politicians right now, but the capacity, nobody has built the capacity to try to hold the government to account. So what we are seeing is not very effective. It's neither here nor there. But with time, I know. Hatuwezi sema sasa opposition imekufa for life. No, things will happen and Kenyans will see. If not 2027, by 2032, that will be very clear. And you talked about ODM fielding a candidate in 2027. It is too early to speculate. Too early. Yeah, there will be political realignment within ODM, within the opposition, within government, and this political realignment will inform the fielding of candidates in 2027. But what I know, it is not a matter of fielding a candidate. Because if you are fielding a candidate and you are sure that you are not winning, then for me, I think that is just uh, it's just a waste of time. If if both government side and opposition side can form strong alliances that can ensure that at least we have a winner in the first round, so that we can save ourselves from spending too much money and too much time going for a rerun, so that because we did not have a clear winner in the first round. So whether ODM will field a candidate or not, I think it's too early, but I know they will be guided by the person who will be there as the party leader. But even ODM might not reach 2027 as strong as it is right now, because we know we are going to have some fallout here and there. They might be pretending that, oh, we'll be strong, we'll be together. But ukweli ni kwamba they will fall out at some point, especially next year, because political realignment within the government and within opposition will sideline others, and those who will be sidelined will ship out, and they will form an alliance with other like-minded leaders, either within the opposition, or they will do whatever they think is right for them, and others will do that for survival, for political survival. Because if you ask me, the so-called one Kenya, these people that where you mentioned Caleb Amisi, are you sure that Caleb Amisi can retain his seat in Saboti under ODM ticket? And if he cannot do that, what will he do? He will join a party that is popular within Saboti, and most probably that may be the DAPK, because that is now the Natembea's party. And you know, Natembeya is very popular in Trans Nzoia. That is if he'd be re-elected as governor, and if his Tawe movement sweeps across Trans Nzoia and Bungoma counties. So if he managed to do that, you will see like leaders realigning themselves, because their interest will be at stake. They want to be re-elected. So you must align yourself with the most popular political party in or that is most prominent where you are coming from. That will happen to the likes of Gathoni Wamushomba if DCP sweeps across central Kenya. Wamushomba will automatically join Gachagua. Hatakuwa na choice ingine for her to survive, and that's what many of them did even during 2022 election, where they were lighting themselves UDA. You remember the likes of Waiguru coming from Azimio to UDA, There were many who decamped. So they will always align themselves with a political party that assures them a re-election. Yeah. So that is what will happen in 2020, 2027. And you are saying that looking at the political parties that has formed government since 2002, yes, no president has come using the same party. I don't know. Let me just mention that from Kibaki winning election with NAC coalition in 2002, and what that disintegrated, he joined PNU 2007, and Uhuru came in at a TNA and Jubilee Alliance. 2017, he was and Jubilee now as a political party. And now Ruto came with UDA in 2020, 2022. So maybe, just maybe, Ruto might also try to play cards and come with something different, so that the sins that Kenya Kwanza has committed, maybe he will not associate himself with those sins, claiming that now he has a better vehicle that can take Kenyans to Canaan. So those are things that will happen as we approach general election, because realignment are meant to be. For especially in the year 2026, we will have so many political realignment. And at the beginning of 2027, politics will be very hot in this country. And that is where now you will see people now taking what we call political positions according to their interest. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak. And before you give us your final remarks, maybe you can also give us your take on the Tanzanian election, which is expected on, supposed to be on 29th. 29th, that would be on Wednesday, if I'm not wrong. Amidst, the high tension, what is your take? We've seen that quite a number of people showed interest and did not really find it easy having an environment to easily campaign. And of course, the same statements were also echoed by the human right defenders, the Amnesty, among others, that the political democracy has been finding a lot of challenge in Tanzania of late. What is your take on Tanzanian election, and what should we expect, being that Tanzania is one of the countries that have always enjoyed peace. They've never really had an opposition that is very much effective and coming out to maybe criticize the government. For the first time, you're seeing those who are criticizing the government. Some of them are being arrested, some of them are being barred from running for these positions. What is your take as we await for this election, which is happening on 29th, Mr. Barak? And then you can give us your final remarks.
Your statement is very funny. You are saying that they've never enjoyed peace because they have always been peaceful because they don't have opposition that is very vibrant. So that is mean that oppositions really disrupt peace in this part of the world. And I think, from my opinion, I think Kenyans need to give Tanzanians a break, because even when I came in, I was listening to my brother Meguda. There is this notion that if these countries are not behaving like Kenyans, then they are wrong. I think every country has what we call sovereignty to decide their internal affairs. And we behave as if you are not, if you don't have a position like ODM, vile Raila alikuwa anasumbua serikali sana, then you don't have opposition. And if you are not following our way of doing politics, then you are not doing the right way. And you see, that is why even you see some Kenyans are having challenges in Uganda, because you are trying to impose your values on others, without realizing that those others do not really share the same values like yourself. So if a country finds that their way of doing things is the way Tanzania is doing it, and they are getting it right, because you mentioned very well that there have been this perception that they have always been peaceful, even though I don't know. I hope you know that peace does not mean that the absence of war does not equal to peace. Sometimes people maybe they're not fighting, but they're not at peace with themselves. But my point is, Kenyans should not assume that Tanzania must behave the way Kenyans behave for them to be now doing the right thing. The way we vote, the way we campaign, the way we allow people to maybe to we divide the country down right in the middle. We have one country, one side, about 50% that votes for the government, about 50% that votes for the opposition. And then we end up now with antagonizing each other for the next 5 years. We go back to election again, dividing the right in the middle. From 2007 up to now, we've never had a clear winner of a presidential election. And that has always been a challenge for us with this country. And if you look at Tanzania, I think Kenyans are comparing themselves, Kenya with Tanzania, they're saying that Tanzania is very much behind. And now let us look at how political parties have been built. Compare Kenya with Tanzania, you'll realize that Kenya, we don't have political parties. We have enterprises, family businesses that are calling themselves political parties. If you look at CCM is a strong political party with ideologies, with structures that even when the president dies in office, like Magufuli died in office, you never heard of any scramble for succession. It was very clear because the structures are clear. They have strong leadership as a political party. Now in Kenya, the death of our opposition leader, even before he is buried, there's a lot of scrambling for his seat. Yeah. So I think Tanzania being a sovereign country, a sovereign state, even though we are within the East African community, that does not take away that sovereignty of a country. And that means that every country will deal with their internal affairs independently of others, of external interference. And if you look at how that is happening, you'll realize that Kenya, we might say that we are better off in terms of democratic space. If you are talking about Western democracy, that's a fact. In terms of Western democracy, we are better off than Tanzania or Uganda. But is Western democracy the ideal definition of democracy? Yeah, because if you look at the Tanzanian democracy, the way they say the ujamaa or the foundations that Mwalimu Julius Nyerere laid in Tanzania, it is very, very much different with what was laid here in Kenya by our founding father, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. And you realize that those foundations is what a country is built on. Multi-party democracy, I think they started, you remember, the first president, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, retired even before when Moi was still the president. And they've been exchanging power exchanging from one to another, like from Mwalimu Julius Nyerere to Mwalimu Hassan Mwinyi, to Benjamin Mkapa, to Jakaya Kikwete, to John Pombe Magufuli, to Samia Suluhu. You see, they even had many presidents than Kenya. Now, look at Uganda, and look at the history of Uganda, how Museveni became the president, and what was the background of how he became the president, and how he managed to ensure stability in Uganda, and how he has ensured that he has held that country together for the last about 39 years. Yeah, you know, we have different history that are unique to our own countries. So that is why you find that whatever is working in Kenya, it is not automatic that it will work in Uganda. It's not automatic. And whatever is working in Kenya, it's not automatic that it will work in Tanzania, because these countries, they have different foundation, different background, and even historically, yeah, we've been shaped differently. That's why I will really urge Kenyans, wacha tupambane na hii hali yetu. Hali yetu in fact ni ngumu kuliko ya wale wajamaa, because in terms of social fabric that binds people together, I think Tanzania, their fabric is very solid compared to Kenyan social fabric. We have challenges that we have to deal with, and I think the freedom that we enjoy in this country, if you go out there, you'll realize that it is very rare to enjoy those freedom out there. And before I mention my last comment, let me see. We have been made to believe that Tanzania, Uganda, and now Kenya are ruled by tyrants. So Kenya are trying to exercise their freedom of speech and movement. Yeah, I think it is. I agree with Gypsy Corner on this, and I think my point to Kenyans is that let us not impose our values to other countries, because every country have their own values and they have their own way of doing things. And let us not assume, or let us not think that because they are not doing their politics the way we do ours here, now we are ahead of them or we are better off than them. My friend, that is what we call being Eurocentric, where you think that your values are the best, your culture is the best, and if anybody who is not practicing your culture is backward. No, they are just practicing what works for them, what has been working for them, what they find themselves exercising and working for their country and holding their country together. The same with Uganda. They are doing what has been working for them, what has worked for them. And you know, when Kenya was enjoying decades of peace from 1963 to 1986, Uganda was fighting under the big government being overthrown, dictatorship of Idi Amin, yeah, and coups after coups after coups. So when Museveni came and brought stability, understand what that means to Ugandans. You don't understand. Yeah. So Kenyans, we've never experienced any military rule. We've never experienced a dictator like what the Ugandans went through under Idi Amin. We only read them on books and we just watch them on TVs, and we think it's something to joke around with. Yeah. So when a leader has emerged and has managed to hold that country together for over time, for close now to 40 years, and you think that is just something that happens just like that, sio rahisi. Yeah, it's not easy. And you saw what happened in Kenya 2007, 2007, when just an election that was just bungled costed more than 1,000 lives here, 1,300 lives. And the country was just literally going down in flames. See, at government ilipinduliwa na military, just an election that was bungled. You saw what happened. So it is not a matter of Kenya being better off than Tanzania or than Uganda. It's about what works for that country and what are the dynamics that inform the history of that country and what has that country been built upon. So we must not try to impose our values on other countries. Look at what is happening in Cameroon. Yeah, mujaribu kuingia ndege muende kule Yaounde na Douala mutete maandamano huko, because that is what is working for them. Mwingine unashangaa tu, how comes a 92 years old? That is what is working for them. Yeah, if you look at the British, how old was Queen Elizabeth when she died? How old was she? And she was the head of state. How comes nobody was complaining? Yeah, right now King Charles, how old is he? And he will be the head of state until he dies. Another person will take over. Yeah, so let us not have that idea that sisi kwetu lazima tu compare na US nini ndio ikuwe tuko sawa. As long as something is working for us, we embrace it and allow also others that are enjoying their freedom the way they feel, they deem fit. And let us not try to interfere with sovereignty of other countries, and we end up being abducted in those countries, being, I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much, Mark, and all our viewers. And I hope everything is going on well on your end. And looking forward to seeing you again. I hope that this issue of mourning will come to an end soon so that other things can continue. Otherwise, I'm grateful for joining tonight, and it was nice having this discussion with you. Asante sana Gypsy Corner for your engagement on comment section. Asante sana Mark and Miguda. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak, for finding time as well to join us this evening. We really appreciate. Sante sana. Allow me to say a big thank you to our good friend, Gypsy Corner. Thank you for your consistent comments. Thank you for what you've sent to us as well. Thank you so much. Allow me to also acknowledge the presence of I saw quite a number of new people. I want to take this opportunity to I saw Joyce Wanaina. Thank you so much, Joyce. I also saw Frederick Owiti. Thank you so much. Calvin Skireta. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. Lamek Madende. Thank you so much. Vena. Thank you so much. Ento Oket. Thank you so much for finding time as well to join us this evening. We really appreciate. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us from, a blessed morning. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. And if you are watching us for the first time, this is Brother Benson Media. Kindly like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us, and if you do so, we'll really appreciate. Until tomorrow, thank you so much, and bye bye for